Good morning, everyone. Today is September 17th, which is the 2 year anniversary of the Occupy movement. And I'll leave a link in the description box to how I felt on the 1 year anniversary of the Occupy movement, where I decried a lot of the things that I saw going on with my local Occupy chapter and the movement in general. And I thought I made myself really clear when I did that, but I guess I'm just going to be forever associated with Occupy in some people's minds. Now, I got this tag on Facebook from somebody that I know to be very much one of those spammers for Christ on Facebook. But I thought I'd share this with you guys because it actually demonstrates something that I found wrong with the Occupy movement a lot. So here goes. Robert William Hall, he says, "History repeats tomorrow, and it will be interesting to see what happens. Tomorrow is September 17th, 2013. The date may be unfamiliar to some, but will be immediately brought back the minute you see the three letters OWS. And I don't think that OWS means anything to anyone outside of the Occupy Wall Street movement. People think that it was big if they're part of it. People outside of it, not so much. Anyways, he goes on. 2 years ago, I met David Chandler and Michael Clifton on Facebook. They were part of Occupy Colorado Springs and part of Occupy Wall Street. True. Since then, I have learned that what is going on in the world is bigger than OWS. Much bigger. God is calling everyone into the valley of decision. So while I will follow events online tomorrow night for OWS, I could only wish I had a voice to tell them what is really going on. I can only hope that those who are still involved with Occupy Wall Street will take God's message to the General Assembly. It's about time the real truth of Occupy Wall Street be known, because it is more than an occupation. It's a decision of spiritual proportions. Stop worrying about Wall Street and start worrying about your salvation." And I get that being a Jesus freak, everything has to do with Jesus. You can't talk about anything without bringing up, and this is just Jesus calling you back to Jesus. Because Jesus. That's the way that Mr. Hall operates. Everything is about Jesus. And that is very similar to most everyone else who's actually a part of the Occupy movement. Each of them brought their own issues to that General Assembly, and they all tried to co-opt everybody else there, because what Occupy Wall Street was good at was attracting a lot of people to get out of their homes, off of their couches, and get into a circle and talk. So you saw all these different causes trying to co-opt the fact that, hey, these are people energized and off of their couches. Of course they have to be there for us. They're there because they care about our movement. So I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the titles. This is from the Occupy Colorado Springs Facebook page. No longer anything to do with me. Okay, this was taken by the people who actually are still flying the flag of Occupy Colorado Springs. I am not. But the people, the handful of people that are still flying Occupy at every one of the protests that they go to and try to co-opt, they control this. And this is what they think that occupying is about. First, no illegal striking on Syria. Most of them are anti-war protest veterans from way before Occupy started. Call the police. There's a serial killer on DU campus. Arrest Bush. We're going into the past now. These are all these events are the past events for them. Okay. Attack Syria. Let's don't. Not another war. Not another vigil. U.S. hands off Syria. Sunday 6 p.m. Stand with Boulder. Anti-fracking rally. Cookout and fundraiser. How about let's not celebrate war? They actually had a training session on that day. May Day. Protest of Amtel Corp killing solar for the last time. Ban assault weapons in space. I've actually talked about this before, and I'm not kidding. It actually happened. They stood outside protesting assault weapons in space. Occupy the media. No tar sands for Suncor. No more fracking pipelines or spills. No fracking in Colorado Springs. U.S. out of Africa. Okay. Join the largest climate rally in history. Occupy fracking at Manitou's Carnival Parade. Save Wasson High School and its neighborhood. Wasson High School, by the way, was closed because of budget cuts. They consolidated high schools. Coals to Newcastle. Foul fluid to Frackenlooper. It would take a lot to explain that. Just it's about fracking and fossil fuels. Capitol Hill rally for statewide fracking ban. Gazette, get out of our town. Stop misinforming our community. The Gazette's pretty much the print media version of Fox News in our town. Assure the homeless they are welcome for Christmas. Does any of this sound like it was about, let's say, derivatives and how the mortgage crisis kind of put us in a sort of super recession? Does any of that sound like the original reason why Occupy Wall Street was started? No! Fucking no. None of this is about the real reason why Occupy Wall Street was started. Their chapter of Occupy has nothing to do with that whatsoever because the people brought their own issues to the fucking table. And they decided what direction that group was going to take. And it splintered off into, different causes. Now back to Mr. Hall's post. He's just trying to co-opt the Occupy movement for Jesus. And I don't see anything new in his tactics. It's, I guess, par for the course if you're going to experience what Occupy really was about. It was a leaderless movement, and because there were no leaders, there were no people to keep people on topic. So it became about everything that anybody wanted it to be about.